I always thought riding a horse was either for kids or for professionals, but learning how to ride a horse as an adult has been one of the most rewarding challenges of my life. Hey, welcome back. So, if you've seen my channel update video, you'll know that one of the 4 video topics that I've introduced will focus on horse riding. So, this is the first of many. So, I've been learning how to ride a horse for the last 10 months, and I just wanted to share my journey from beginner to now. I guess a bit of context is required. So, I am an actor, and I wanted to get more skills that would make me more hireable, or help me land bigger roles, more diverse roles, more active roles. That's why I started horse riding in the beginning. And it hasn't helped yet, but I think that's because I'm not quite there yet in terms of my skill level.
What did you do? Anakin!
And it's definitely not just for kids. At the riding centre that I learn at, all but one of the customers are adults, and that one exception is a 3-year-old boy. So I had the idea that I wanted to learn how to ride a horse. I called the local riding centre that offered lessons, and within that same week I was on a horse. Now that first lesson was rough. You sit on that beast for the first time and you realise it is a long way down to fall. We had a walk around, we learned the basics, how to stop, how to start, how to steer, simple stuff. And then at the end of that first lesson, my instructor wanted to see if I could trot whilst being led around. And as a quick aside, horse speeds are walk, trot, canter, and gallop. You could think of that for humans as a walk, a jog, a run, and a sprint. I help. And trotting on a horse becomes very bouncy if you're not prepared for it. The horse speeds up and the bouncing becomes more noticeable, making you feel less stable than you already weren't feeling. And because you feel less stable, you tense up, meaning that the bouncing feels worse. It's a bit of a positive feedback loop. You tense, bouncing feels worse, so you tense up more, bouncing feels worse, and so on. Ideally, you relax into it so it doesn't feel so jarring. The mental image is almost like putting a blanket on the back of a horse. Well, that blanket isn't going to go anywhere regardless of how bouncy that horse starts to feel. Whereas if you put a plank of wood on the back of that horse, it's going to fall off straight away. So you as a person needs to relax and just sit and go with that motion. The goal is to rise with every second step, so that you are in rhythm with the front leg of the horse. And depending on which front leg you are rising to depends on which way round the school you're going. And in the long run, being in time with the correct leg helps the horse and yourself stay balanced when you progress onto faster speeds like a canter. But after several months of frustrating attempts, I was finally able to do a rising trot independently and consistently. Now, excuse the poor form, but this was a milestone and I'm glad I got it on camera. For me, the rhythm and the coordination was one of the hardest things to get right. I've got the fitness for it, I've got the endurance for it, I'm strong enough to do it, but it's just learning how to rise in time, how to squeeze with your legs in the correct times and the beats of the rhythm, how to steer with your seat and to steer with your reins, and all of that in the beginning was a bit too much to take on, so it took me a long time to get through that initial hardship of learning the rhythm. But once you get it, you can't undo it, you can't forget it. Once it's there, it's there. It's like learning how to ride a bike. Once you've got it, you keep doing it. And despite the challenge, being able to look back at these videos to see where I came from and looking back and seeing how bad my technique was is super satisfying to say, yes, I have progressed from there to where I currently am. And I'm not saying that I'm brilliant by any means. I'm just saying that I'm significantly better than I started.
What did you do? Anakin!
That's a nice way to see the progress that I have made. And yes, I've got lots of progress to make still, to improve and get better. But it's nice to see that I'm at that checkpoint of saying I am good enough that I'm willing to share some of these embarrassing videos of me riding a horse with you guys. And after a while, I wanted to learn more than just how to ride a horse. I wanted to learn about horses holistically. So I started to volunteer 2 days a week. And that included stuff like mucking out, tacking up, leading people around on a walk around or on the carriage. It was just a case that I wanted to learn all about horses, not just how to ride them. And that has helped massively because you start to learn how to deal with and handle horses. And one of the side benefits of volunteering is that it forces you to be outside regardless of the weather. It's nice to take time to be outside. And I think given the fact that all of my previous careers have been indoor focused, I think being forced to be outside is a really nice position to be in. And I guess that's another reason why I wanted to be an actor, is the fact that you get the opportunity to go to lots of different sets, all of which are outside. So you're outside in the fresh air, being active. It just seems like something that I wanted to aspire to do more of. And if you're somebody that's watching this, tempted to give it a go, definitely do. Find the local riding centre, give them a call, see if they offer lessons, and go. You really don't need much in the way of starting equipment. I ride in a t-shirt and jeans and some boots that I've had for ages. You really don't need a lot of stuff. The one thing that I did buy, only after a couple months, was a riding hat. Now, that is purely for the fact that the ones that the school offers are used by everyone. So they're a little bit gross, but they are there if you need to use them. So where am I at currently after 10 months of lessons? Well, I can walk, trot and canter every horse that I've ridden. I've done some dressage lessons where you are walking and trotting over poles on the ground that are in the shape of triangles and squares and other patterns. I've also ridden without stirrups in trot and canter. I have jumped a course of 8 jumps, all of around 0.7 meters, and the highest single jump that I was able to clear was about 0.9 meters. And where am I aiming to get to? Well, I would really like to be able to join the British Stunt Register as a horse rider. One of those criteria is that you have to have a minimum of 2 years riding experience before you take the test. So I have to spend at least another year practicing anyway, and in that time I will focus on all the other bullet points so that when my 2 years comes to an end, I will have all of the previous skills that I need for the test, so that when I do the test, I should be able to pass first time. If you want me to go through a specific video on the British Stunt Register requirements, just let me know. I would be more than happy to do one. To be honest, it's felt like it's taken ages to get to this point, but I'm really glad that I stayed consistent despite all of the challenges. And I guess it's worth reiterating that learning how to ride a horse as an adult is not only possible, but it's incredibly rewarding. I would love it if you shared some of your experiences learning how to ride a horse down in the comments, or let me know something that you want me to try and do on a horse next, or something I should progress towards being able to do. And before you go, it would mean the world to me if you hit the like button. And if you want to keep up to date with all of my goings on and doings, hit the subscribe button as well. I try and post at least one video a week. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll check you in the next one.